Namaste. Pranams at the holy feet of the divine trio. Pranams to all the most revered Swamijis of Ramakrishna Mat Mangaluru. And Namaskara to the convener of Swami Vivekananda Study Center, Professor Shripati Kallurayaji. Namaskara to Madam Dr. Parvati Kumari, special invitee Dr. Lakshmisha KSG, Brother Sri Ranjan, and all the participants who are virtually present over here. At the outset, I would like to thank all the authorities associated with Swami Vivekananda Study Center, an official study center of Mangalore University, for giving me an opportunity to deliver lecture in Viveka Vani lecture series. Thank you. The topic of today's lecture is Economic Thoughts of Swami Vivekananda and its relevance. I have chosen this topic for the following reasons. We all know that Swami Vivekananda is a great visionary with a rare clarity on diverse aspects of human life. His intimate knowledge of the Indian situation, wide experience across different countries, deep understanding of the civilizational backgrounds, and keen intellect gave him a unique opportunity to develop new insights on different subjects, including economics. Though Swamiji was not a student of economics, he was familiar with the works of classical political economists like John Stuart Mill. His expertise on economic aspects could be understood from the fact that he gave a lecture to the experts at the American Social Science Association in 1893 on the topic, Use of Silver in India, and it was widely appreciated. More than that, after the Mahasamadhi of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as a wandering monk, Swamiji traveled across India and acquired a deep understanding of socio-economic problems of India and the Indians. His experiences and interactions in the foreign countries provided him an opportunity to understand and compare the economic and social systems of different parts of the world. Though through his lectures and writings, Swamiji had addressed various economic issues like poverty, need for education, agricultural development, rural development, women empowerment, industrialization, human welfare, etc. He identified the problems and challenges faced by our country and gave amicable solutions and valuable suggestions to overcome them. And I can say with pride that his economic thoughts sync with the thoughts of renowned world-class economists and policymakers of his time and also of our time. We all agree that the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda still hold good and they will inspire us for years to come. Vivekananda gave answers to the pressing problems of our country. Rooted in the past, full of pride in India's prestige, Vivekananda was yet modern in his approach to life's problems and was a kind of bridge between the past of India and her present, said Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. While addressing the people at the Ramakrishna Mission, New Delhi, on 20th March 1949, on the occasion of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's 114th birth anniversary, Jawaharlal Nehruji told, I quote, "If you read Swami Vivekananda's writings and speeches, the curious thing you will find is that they are not old. It was told 56 years ago, and they are fresh today because what he wrote or spoke about dealt with certain fundamental matters and aspects of our problems or the world's problems. Therefore, they do not become old. They are fresh even though you read them now." Swami Vivekananda gave us something which brings us, if I may use the word, a certain pride in our inheritance. He did not spare us. He talked of our weaknesses and our failings too. He did not wish to hide anything. Indeed, he should not, because we have to correct those feelings also. Sometimes he strikes hard at us, but sometimes points out the great things for which India stood and which even in the days of India's downfall made her in some measure continue to be great. So what Swamiji has written and said is of interest and must interest us and is likely to influence us for a long time to come, unquote. I think with these words, Pandit Nehruji gave great message to the world that the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda are relevant for all the ages. Now, before discussing about Swamiji's economic thoughts, let us first turn to the economic scenario of India at the times when Swamiji lived. We all know that with the British conquest, colonization of Indian economy by the British started, and by the end of the 19th century, India was transformed into a classic colony of the British. India became a major market for British manufacturers. Our motherland became a big source of raw materials and foodstuffs and an important field for the investment of British capital. Agriculture at that time was taxed heavily for the benefit of imperial interests. The bulk of transport systems, mines and industries, foreign trade, coastal and international shipping, banks and insurance companies were all under British control. Please note that India provided employment to thousands of middle-class Englishmen, and nearly 1/3 of India's revenues were spent in paying salaries of the Englishmen. The Indian acted as a chief instrument for maintaining the British Empire and protecting and promoting British imperial interests. Above all, Indian economy was completely subordinated to British economy. In the 19th century, these economic problems of India were partially addressed in the writings of Rajaram Mohan Roy, Dadabhai Nauroji, the Grand Old Man of India, Mahadeva Govinda Ranade, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, a great historian, and Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, and many more patriots and national leaders. And Swamiji was also one among them. Swami Vivekananda's economic thoughts, his analysis of poverty of the Indians, and his views on the exploitation of the Indians by the British rulers had something in common with the views of the thinkers as mentioned above, especially with that of Dadabhai Nauroji, who wrote the famous book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, and Dadabhai Nauroji also gave a famous drain theory. Swamiji also strongly believed that primary source of wealth of Europeans was the Indian resources. Now, let us look into some of the economic issues which were emphasized by Swamiji. Let me begin with the problem of poverty. We all know that Swami Vivekananda was a rare combination of head and heart. His sorrow and concern for the suffering of the poor millions of Bharat many a time overpowered his blazing intellect. He was highly critical of the so-called educated who do not care for the poor and the downtrodden. He said, "So long as the millions live in hunger and ignorance, I hold every man a traitor who, having been educated at their expense, pays not the least heed to them." In his letter from America to Haripada Mitra on December 28, 1893, Swamiji wrote, "I came to this country not to satisfy my curiosity, nor name or fame, but to see if I could find any means for the support of the poor in India. If God helps me, you will know gradually what those means are." Swami Vivekananda has poured his heart at all places he visited in Bharat, giving the call of service to the poor, particularly to the youth of the country. He says, "This is the gist of all worship, to be pure and to do good to others. He who sees Shiva in the poor, Jive Shiva, that is Jive Shiva, in the weak and in the deceased, really worships Shiva. And if he sees Shiva only in the image, his worship is but preliminary. Swamiji has coined the word Daridra Narayana. He says, you must give your body, mind, and speech to the welfare of the world. You have read Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. Look upon your mother as God, look upon your father as God, look upon your guru as God and guest as God. But I say, Daridra Devo Bhava, Murka Devo Bhava, Papi Devo Bhava. The poor, the illiterate, the ignorant, and the afflicted, let these be your God. Know that service to these is the highest religion. Vivekananda was the first to draw the attention of the Indian leaders to the social implication of the curse of the mass poverty. Vivekananda categorically pointed out that freedom of the people from the want of daily bread was the first condition of national regeneration of India. He highlighted two major factors responsible for the extreme poverty of the Indians of his time. The first one was the exploitation of the Indians by the British imperialist regime, resulting in the lack of income of the people. And the second one was by our own people, that is, by the exploitation and repression of the poor farmers, laborers, and ordinary people by the feudal lords, zamindars, and the priests. But even today, poverty is one of the major economic problems of India and the world. Therefore, to eradicate poverty, many steps have been taken, and you might have heard, all of us have heard about these 17 sustainable development goals, which were adopted in 2015. And the first goal is dedicated for eradicating extreme poverty for all people everywhere by 2030. And let us have a look into India's poverty statistics. According to a new multidimensional poverty index, that is MPI, released in October 2022, jointly by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative at the University of Oxford, the number of people living below the poverty line in India decreased by 415 million between 2005 to 2021. However, the index has stated that India still has the world's highest of poor at 228.9 million, followed by Nigeria, and Nigeria has 96.7 million projected in 2020. And the report also projected that 18.7% of the people in India were found to be vulnerable to poverty. 2/3 of the people who live under poverty line in a household in which at least one person is deprived of nutrition are worrying statistics, the report added. In the recently released Global Hunger Index, India ranked 107th out of 121 countries with worrying figures in child malnutrition. Now, let us look into Swami Vivekananda's suggestions for poverty eradication and its relevance. Swami Vivekananda wanted that the working class should be on the top. Swamiji said he was a socialist, adding at the same time, not that socialism is perfect, but half a loaf of bread is better than none. His understanding of history had convinced him that revolution was bound to come sooner or later. He mentioned two countries where revolution would come first, namely Russia and China. This was sometime in the 90s of the 19th century. For India, it is clear that Swamiji preferred evolution rather than revolution. He said that he wanted a process of leveling up and no leveling down. That is to say, he wanted that the working class should have opportunities enough to catch up with the intelligentsia and the rich people of the country. It is not that the rich have to come down to make room for the working people and the poor people. What an idea Swamiji gave. Vivekananda's main antidote for uplifting the condition of the poor was an all-round effort to educate the poor people. He strongly believed that education was the essential need of the poor to resist and also to get rid of the oppression and exploitation that they had been subjected to. He advised the youth and his Guru Bhais to try to get up a fund, buy some magic lanterns, maps, globes, etc., and also some chemicals. He asked them to get every evening a crowd of the poor and the low and lecture to them about religion first, and then teach them through the magic lantern and other things, astronomy, geography, etc., in the dialect of the people, that is in regional languages. Swamiji said, if the mountain does not come to Muhammad, Muhammad must go to the mountain. If the poor cannot come to education, education must reach them at the plow, in the factory, everywhere. If the poor boy cannot come to education, education must go to him. And after independence, India has put sincere efforts to give education to all its citizens through the implementation of various plans and policies in these 75 years. Right to education has become a fundamental right in India. National Education Policy 2020, announced on 29th of July 2020, also aims at universalization of education. It aims to increase the gross enrollment ratio to 100% at school level by 2030, and in higher education, including vocational education, from 26.3% in 2018 to 50% by 2035. This policy also emphasizes on promoting Indian languages. The policy says the medium of instruction until at least grade 5, but preferably till grade 8 and beyond, will be in mother tongue. And we can clearly see that the ideas and the ideals of Swami Vivekananda on education has been incorporated in the National Education Policy of 2020. And we all know that the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, established by Swami Vivekananda, which is celebrating its 125th anniversary, has serving people of India by running a number of educational institutions and giving high quality education. Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission run one university with 5 off-campus faculty centers, 7 colleges, including 1 Sanskrit college, more than 500 schools of different grades, 2 schools of languages, 4 polytechnics, 6 junior technical and industrial schools, 79 occasional training centers, 100 hostels, 6 orphanages, 2 centers for the disabled, 1 school for Vedic education, and 129 non-formal educational centers. Now, let us take up the issue of gender inequality, one more socio-economic problem. Since ages, the burden of poverty weighs down heavier on girls and women in India than it does on men. And this is the major cause for the backwardness. Knowing this, Swami Vivekananda gave strong messages for the upliftment of women. Swami Vivekananda clearly said, there is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is not possible for a bird to fly on only one wing. Swamiji told that the day India started neglecting their women, the downfall of the nation started. But even today, the condition of women is not better. The most important causes for gender inequality are the existence of poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, social customs, belief, and anti-female attitude. In India, among the 30% of people who are below poverty line, 70% are women, leading to economic dependence on men. That becomes a root cause for gender disparity. Illiteracy follows closely in contributing to this inequality. There are around 960 million illiterate adults of whom 2/3 are women. Educational backwardness of girls has been the resultant cause of gender discrimination. Girls account for only 43.7% of enrollment at primary school, 40.9% at the upper primary level, and it goes down at higher levels. Consequently, the participation of girls in education is still below when compared to male counterpart. Due to illiteracy, females are not able to realize their potential and power in most of these spheres. To give a solution for this problem, Swami Vivekananda questioned Indians. Can you better the condition of your women? Then there will be hope for your well-being. Otherwise, you will remain as backward as you are now. Indian women have many and grave problems, but none that cannot be solved by that magic word, education. Educate your women first and leave them to themselves. Then they will tell you what reforms are necessary for them. His disciple, Sister Nivedita, an English woman, carried forward his legacy of women's education in India. The government of India and various state governments and NGOs are striving hard to enhance female literacy and uplift the condition of women, and this is a healthy situation. And the National Education Policy 2020 also emphasizes equitable and inclusive education for all, with special focus on children and youth, especially girls from socially and economically disadvantaged groups. The NEP 2020 intends to meet the challenge through its Gender Inclusion Fund. NEP 2020 aims to address the issue of gender inequality in recruitment of teachers in rural areas. The twin organizations, Ramakrishna Math and Mission, serve women through the maternity sections of their hospitals, an old age home for women, schools of nursing, self-help groups, and occasional training centers for rural women. And they also provide monthly allowances to widows in certain centers. The next economic aspect addressed by Swami Vivekananda was agriculture and rural development. We all know that basically India is an agricultural economy. Even today, in terms of empowerment, the agriculture sector provides livelihood to over 151 million people. Approximately 60% of the Indian population are engaged in agriculture and allied activities. As a true visionary, Swami Vivekananda was fully aware of the importance of agriculture, and Swamiji noted that Indians must not shy off from their unique characteristic of being an agrarian economy. He wanted India to adopt modern scientific practices to improve agriculture. He was particular that the small farmers need to be encouraged. His emphasis on agriculture remains true even in the present context. We are witnessing as to how the neglect of agriculture after independence is resulting in the younger generation leaving from farming activities. This is not good for the future of the country. India has inherent strength in agriculture, which the other countries lack. Besides, there is no other nation in the world that is capable of feeding our population, which has 1/6 of the humanity. Swamiji realized that illiteracy of our farmers was the greatest drawback in our quest for rural economic prosperity. Keeping all these things in mind, to realize the dreams of Swamiji with respect to agriculture and rural development, Ramakrishna Math and Mission had put many efforts. Many other independent centers, ashramas in the name of Ramakrishna Vivekananda, in short, a social and national network of Ramakrishna Vivekananda movement, along with other organizations, had dedicated persons is serving the nation to regenerate rural India for the awakening of Mother India. Some of the centers and sub-centers of Ramakrishna Mission, which are totally dedicated for rural and tribal development activities, are Pallimangal, Loka Shiksha Parishad, Divyayana, Samaj Sevaka Shikshana Mandira, Ramakrishna Mission Ashram, Narayanpur, which is involved in tribal development project, Shivanahalli near Bangalore, Sakora in Mumbai, Sagaradweep in 24 Parganas, Chirapunchi in Meghalaya, Alu in Arunachal Pradesh, etc. Now, let me brief about the views of Swami Vivekananda on the need for industrial development. Swamiji clearly told India has to learn from Europe the conquest of external nature, and Europe has to learn from India the conquest of internal nature. He banged the Indians by saying, you have not the capacity to manufacture a needle and you dare to criticize the English. Fools, sit at their feet and learn from them the arts, industries, and the practicality necessary for the struggle of existence. They, that means Western people, will no doubt be your guru regarding practical sciences, etc., for the improvement of material conditions, and the people of our country will be their guru in everything pertaining to religion. Swami Vivekananda advocated the development of the industrial sector for economic progress of India. He gave much importance to the promotion of vibrant industrial sector. He was clear about the nature of industrialization. He thought that the country needed proper utilization of vast natural resources for industrial development. He also favored simultaneous development of agriculture and industries. He wanted Indians to take steps to make the required items without depending on foreign countries. He thought that imports of many consumer goods could be minimized and a number of goods could be exported abroad if India gave stress on developing the manufacturing industries. And we know that the government of India, after independence, has introduced many policies which supported import substitution and export promotion, and some of them became successful also. Make in India is one such recent program. Vivekananda's ideas on import substitution and export promotion were well expressed in his interactions with Jamshedji Tata, while both of them were co-passengers in the same ship when Swami Vivekananda was on his journey to America to attend Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893. Swamiji and Tata discussed Japan's phenomenal progress in technology and Jamshedji's plan of laying the foundations of the steel industry in India. The founder of one of the India's largest industries, Jamshedji Tata, also explained that he was in search of equipments and technology that would help to make India a strong industrial nation. Vivekananda endorsed the vision, adding that the real hope of India lay in the prosperity and progress of the ordinary millions. He also added that instead of importing matchsticks from Japan, Jamshedji should manufacture them in India and help provide a livelihood to the rural poor. Impressed by Swami Vivekananda's views on science and deep-rooted patriotism, Jamshedji requested his guidance in his campaign in establishing a research institute in India. The Indian Institute of Science, which is located in Bangalore, was conceptualized during the chance conversation between Swami Vivekananda and Jamshedji Tata aboard a cruise liner headed to Chicago. When Swamiji was in America, he carefully studied the advancements made in agriculture and industries. After his return to India, he took initiative in starting of industries in different parts of the country as one of the objectives of Ramakrishna Mission. Now, the question arises, what is the current status of industrialization in India? We all know that industrialization in India started in 1854 with the establishment of the first mechanized cotton mill in Mumbai. Since then, India moved forward in its industry setup and thus making India a developing country from the underdeveloped one. The World Economic Forum in 2018 has ranked India at 30th position on a global manufacturing index. China was in 5th place. It is the main competitor of India, but India was above other BRIC peers like Brazil, Russia, and South Africa. Japan has been found to have the best structure of production in the Geneva-based World Economic Forum's first readiness for the future of production report. And it was followed by South Korea, Germany, Switzerland, China, Czech Republic, the US, and Sweden. It's interesting to know that Swamiji admired the industrial development of Japan, China, US during 1890s, which are in top ranking with respect to readiness for the future of production in 2018. Isn't this a proof that the relevance of Swamiji's thoughts even today? And it shows that Swamiji was a great visionary. The World Economic Forum report said, home to the second largest population in the world, one of the fastest growing economies, the demand for Indian manufactured products is increasing. So, as Swamiji told, we have to concentrate on increasing our production capacities. Now, let us look at the need for human resource development to achieve faster industrial development. The World Economic Forum report listed human capital and sustainable resources as the two key challenges for India and said the country needs to continue to raise the capabilities of its relatively young and fast-growing labor force. This entails upgrading education curricula, revamping occasional training programs, and improving digital skills. Swami Vivekananda spoke about rising the capabilities of Indian youth more than 150 years ago. Swami Vivekananda told, if I get some unmarried graduates, I may try to send them over to Japan and make arrangements for their technical education there so that when they come back, they may turn their knowledge to the best account for India. What a good thing that would be. Swamiji believed that it would be better if the people got a little technical education so that they might find work and earn their bread instead of crying for service. National Education Policy 2020 identified the need for exposure to occasionalization of education at school level and also at higher education level. Some of the centers of Ramakrishna movement are running training cum production centers. At these centers, food processing, designing and decorative bags making, tailoring and dressmaking activities are going on. For self-help groups, these centers are giving support in many ways. They are supporting them to buy machineries, raw materials, other supportive things, and they are also providing seed money for starting their own production activities. The centers have extended the support to the poor ex-trainees and self-help group members by promotion of cottage industries products produced by them. And one more interesting thing is there. Today, that is on February 12th, every year, India celebrates National Productivity Day. And the purpose behind this day is to increase the value of productivity, innovation, and efficiency. Swami Vivekananda also highlighted the need for increasing the value of productivity, innovation, and efficiency. So if India strives to enhance its productivity, it can realize the dream of becoming 5 trillion economy in the near future. I would like to conclude the lecture with the words of Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, the 13th Vice President of India. I quote, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." This Upanishadic shloka popularized by Swami Vivekananda must serve as an inspiration to every Indian, particularly the youth of today, to build a new India through motivation, education, and dedication. The time has never been more opportune than now for India to realize its true potential by unleashing the energies of the youth, who constitute about 65% of India's population. India is already one of the leading global IT players, with the services sector contributing hugely to the GDP of India, that is gross domestic product of India. However, for a multi-sectoral growth of India, rapid strides need to be made in manufacturing, agriculture, energy, and infrastructure areas so that the country becomes the third largest economy sooner than the projected 10 to 15 years time. Venkaiah Naiduji said this in 2018. Swami Vivekananda, he also told, Swami Vivekananda was a great nation builder, and his teachings have become all the more relevant today in the wake of attempts by a number of forces that impede progress. Sri M. Venkaiah Naiduji truly said, Swami Vivekananda can provide our society with the eternal fountain of Ananda, that is happiness, springing out of Viveka, that is wisdom. There is no doubt that if we frame all our policies with the nation-centric approaches, India has the potential to emerge as the Jagat Guru, as Swami Vivekananda had envisioned, and let us work towards the achievement of the same. Dhanyavada.